The stress is preparing us for something new. Hey everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. This is a post I put up yesterday on the website as I was fighting through my gut issues once again. And that's kind of why I was down for a couple of days, Sunday and Monday, because of those. So please keep me in prayer on that. It's much better today, however. So thank you for those of you who have prayed. But anyway, I put this up yesterday to let you guys know what's going on in our lives so you can pray in agreement with us that we will be delivered through this dark time in our lives, through it, just like God always does. I just wanted some extra power for prayer here today. As my wife Lisa works as a purchasing agent, one of only three in this state, and as an executive admin for a U.S. government agency. Of course, with the shutdown, those checks stopped after October 1st. And it's put her home at risk because there won't be enough money to pay the rent for November. This is something the Lord told me would be coming. He told me last summer. I just didn't know when. Apparently, it's probably now. Is he going to move us away? I don't know at this point, but I'm seeking the answers through prayer and fasting. But I do know that God is stretching our faith and expanding our endurance through this trial. And so we will get through it. It's just a matter of how and when. And I have put a donation box right down here. I put the amount to at 2,000 instead of 2,150 because I already had 150 come in. So, and I saw another 50 come in today. So thank you for those of you who have donated already. It means the absolute world to us. And I'll be setting it aside for November 1st rent. So thank you very much for that. And now on to the news at hand. As you probably know, yesterday and today, there's been a massive Amazon Web Service outage as it took down Reddit, Snapchat, Alexa, Ring, and much of the internet. And in fact, speaking of this, it brought me to a story I reported to you last week. Right here. New cyber threat lurking as U.S. government issues warnings. So this will be how they bring in their new B system, guys, by forcing it on everyone due to cybersecurity flaws in the old system. Problem, reaction, solution. They're saying that these nation-state level hackers have been inside these systems for years. What systems were they in, Johnny? Well, let's take a look. Thousands of customers were imperiled after nation-state ransacks the F5 network, or F5's network. Well, F5 is a Seattle-based maker of networking software, and they disclosed the breach last Wednesday. F5 said a sophisticated threat group working for an undisclosed nation-state government had surreptitiously and persistently dwelled in its network over a long term. Security researchers who have responded to similar intrusions in the past took the language to mean the hackers were inside the F5 network for years. Now, during that time, F5 said that the hackers took control of the network segment the company uses to create and distribute updates for Big IP, a line of server appliances that F5 says is used by 48 of the world's top 50 corporations. So that's a quick refresher on what we covered last week. And now, for today, Amazon Web Services cloud that stores CIA's data goes down and takes much of the internet down as well. Partners for the past decade, indeed they have been. So at the time of my writing this Monday, which would have been yesterday, much of the internet is still down due to a problem with Amazon Web Services, the largest cloud provider in the world. While AWS initially said the problem was related to a DNS or domain name system issue that they had fixed, the outages have continued, and AWS is now looking at other problems. So it says, like it says here, and what we knew from yesterday, this outage spotlights the global economy's fragile foundations. Indeed, it has. Amazon Web Services, the biggest cloud computing provider, went down Monday morning, crippling thousands of services from some of the biggest companies on Earth. Why it matters? For all of its complexity and size, the global economy is fragile. Breaking just one weak link drives big disruptions online and in the real world. Remember last year when the car dealership services software went down and all of these new car dealers, they couldn't even provide service for cars. I remember because my wife's car, her Toyota RAV4, needed service, and she couldn't get it in there for service because all of their systems were down. And so that's how it affects things in the real world. It just shuts everything down. Nobody can do anything on paper anymore. Nobody knows how to do it by hand or by typewriter anymore. And so when the internet breaks, it's going to send everything back to the 1800s, essentially. So yes, very fragile indeed. So where it stands, Amazon's East Coast region, responsible for a lot of the internet, was the culprit. Zoom, Venmo, WhatsApp, and many other gaming, banking, social media, and consumer sites saw large spikes in reported outages. The site said that more than 11 million people worldwide reported issues with more than 2,500 companies as of 12:45 p.m. Eastern yesterday. And that was the biggest AWS outage of the year. Now, Amazon said it has addressed the problem, but as of early afternoon on the East Coast, many websites were still experiencing disruptions. Now, I've noticed glitches in my internet too, guys. I've also noted lights flickering, all kinds of things just kind of going haywire here lately. CNN is reporting that the estimate for the total cost of the outage could reach hundreds of billions of dollars. Total cost of the outage could reach hundreds of billions of dollars, expert says. Wow. They said, we've designed everything to work with that constant connectivity, and when you pull the big plug, everything basically becomes dumb. Isn't that something? What is rather amazing so far is that the corporate media in unison is not even exploring the possibility that this is a cyber attack, or they are downplaying it, saying it's unlikely, without giving any reason why they believe that. Well, they don't want everybody to panic because of what we exposed last week, showing the cyber threats lurking there all the time. And whatever state actor put that in there into this update system, well, they can just click a mouse and send a virus or shuts things down just like that, can't they? I mean, think about it. If they've been embedded in there for years and not going anywhere anytime soon, and that could very well be what's causing the problems now. So anyway, the author here, Brian, at Vaccine Impact and Health Impact, is going to say, let's speculate a little bit that this is a cyber attack. And I agree. Let's take a look at that. First, the federal government just issued a cyber emergency directive, which we talked about last week, and he did as well, which is why I put out the report to show you guys something was afoot, and sure enough, it is. So the federal government just issued a cybersecurity emergency directive late last week through their Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, warning that thousands of networks operated by the U.S. government and Fortune 500 companies face an imminent threat of being breached by a nation-state hacking group. And here's another link to that article. Now, I've not seen a single corporate media news site even mention this yet. No, they haven't. I've been watching and they have not mentioned it. Secondly, Amazon's oldest data center in Northern Virginia is the source of the current outage, and it's the location where the CIA has stored their secure data for over a decade now. In 2017, the CIA revealed to the public their new alliance with the secure cloud storage with AWS. There was a video presentation given by John Edwards, Chief Information Officer of the CIA at the time. I'll let you watch it on your own. Given how the CIA and Mossad, along with their alliances with big tech, have terrorized nations around the world, especially most recently in Lebanon and Iran, by assassinating their military leaders, is it so far-fetched of an idea that this is a cyber attack? Of course, if it is a dangerous cyber attack against the CIA, we will never know, as they would never reveal that. If hackers are in fact now targeting U.S. data centers like AWS, this could absolutely cripple the U.S., and it's something I foresaw as a possibility back in 2023. Yes, and the fact that they've consolidated so many services, all these different companies and government institutions have centralized everything in Amazon's cloud. Well, now the hackers only have to attack one place and find one vulnerable weakness in that spot. And then, boom, everything goes down, just like the car dealers did last year. So what's going to happen next? That's anybody's guess. But that's what Brian wrote in 2023. And fast forward to today, there's even more risk to these data centers as they try to quickly ramp up to serve the AI bubble. There is not enough energy produced in the U.S. to run all of these data centers, which is leading to a renaissance in nuclear power. Even if this current problem with AWS is not a cyber attack, it shows how frail this technology is. And now many people on Wall Street and in the tech field are beginning to wonder if the money being spent on these data centers for AI might bring down the entire economy with no hackers needed. And this was just published today by The Information. The data center boom enters a speculative era. The wind in Las Vegas was buzzing last week as executives, investors, and deal makers from across the data center, cloud, and finance world converged at an event to trade notes on how quickly the industry has changed. A year ago, most conversations in infrastructure hosted by Structure Research focused on how hard it was to find land and power for new data centers for artificial intelligence, and skepticism abounded over whether projects such as OpenAI Stargate which hadn't been formally announced yet, could be real. This year was different, following a bevy of large data center financing and commitments by OpenAI, xAI, and Meta to spend hundreds of billions of dollars running and renting data center servers over the next decade. Everyone was asking, which one of them will build the most gigawatts of data center capacity? Which firms will commit to fund these projects, and how will revenue be generated from AI to justify hundreds of billions of dollars of construction next year? Are there enough people to build all these projects? Well, I doubt it, because they've killed so many people off at the you know what. But anyway, I think you get the point. These outages are going to continue. And I truly believe they're going to get worse as the year goes on. I think we're going to have power outages off and on because of this, because of them messing with systems and so on. And it could very well be done by our own government. And they're just going to blame it on some other nation state. They do that all the time. It's called a false flag. In this case, a cyber attack false flag. So anyway, it's also a big problem of, like I said, everybody throwing all their hats and all their eggs into one basket, which is Amazon and their cloud system. And this will continue happening because of that, and because it's just time. It's just time. They're taking down the United States one piece at a time, but they're doing it very, very quickly. They're taking those pieces out very fast. So at some point, it's all just going to collapse like a big house of cards. And that will be it for now. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com is home base for all that we do. If you'd like to stay in touch and stay in contact and get contacted every time I put up a new video, web posting, whatever, then all you have to do is click on subscribe, contact Johnny right here. There's also a box to subscribe at the bottom of every article, and you will get one pop-up while you're here. And then you can contact me with this email that's listed, and you can subscribe for updates right here. And the email to contact me is Don't Speak News at Proton Mail. And there you go. To find us around the internet, Rumble, BitChute, Telegram, click on that tab. And all the links to find us are right here. And we thank you very, very much for that, for finding us, and for liking, sharing, commenting. We appreciate it all. And I just want to take a chance now to thank you guys for all of your, I guess, prayers and support, and just your being there all these years. So if by chance I go away tomorrow, because none of us are guaranteed any time on this earth, I just wanted to say thank you. And I love each and every one of you, and I pray for each and every one of you every single day. I pray for all of these subscribers and anyone who listens, that they would be blessed beyond belief, especially those who curse me and hate me, because we're supposed to love our enemies. We're supposed to pray for our enemies. And so I do that every single day as well. So just wanted to take some time and say thank you for all the prayers, all the support, and for following me around all these years. Some of you have been with me, I don't know, maybe for the entire 14 years, but for sure for the last 8. Yeah, because I recognize some of the names. So you know who you are. Thank you very much for all of your prayers and support over the years. So that is it. Hopefully we'll have a little more time together, but that's not up to me. God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven, just like his prayer says. And that will be it for now, guys. God bless. Take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.